Hey guys, Ralph here. Welcome to True Power Health here on Wonderful Wednesday. Hang on. My cup of Joe. I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, you saw the thumbnail. How do you deal with these? I got a comment and a couple questions in my email. And again, guys, if you have questions and you don't feel like going on a comment board, I get it. So, if it's a personal question about your health or something and you don't want that to be on the internet, I completely get it. Just email me. I have no problem with that at all. And the email is what, the email at the end of every one of these videos, that email is also my PayPal information. So if you want to buy a book or whatever the case may be. Anyway, with that said, caffeine withdrawal. Now let me preface this by saying I am not a shrink. I'm not a therapist. This is way above my pay grade. But I know I can absolutely give you some tips that will help you. Now, food addictions are absolutely real. So I have dealt with that, not specifically caffeine. Now, caffeine's a drug. It's a drug addiction. So here's the deal. And I do know enough about addiction, knowing that whatever activity, for lack of a better term, whatever activity you want to get rid of, obviously you want to, coffee, food, Doritos, crack, right? Meth. You want to get rid of the activity, but you also want to replace that activity with something positive. Easy enough, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a handful of options here to replace your cup of Joe. Now, as I told you before, I don't really know anything about caffeine addiction. The only time in my life I drank coffee, and I've said this before, I'll go over it very quickly again if you haven't seen it. The only time in my life I've ever actually drank coffee was when I was in college. I was 18 years old and living in New York City. And like all of us other starving musicians and students and all this sort of stuff, I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Okay? Now, right at the corner of my conservatory, music conservatory, that's me on the trumpet on both ends of this video, was your stereotypic New York Greek deli. And you go in the morning and they have their breakfast menu and the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, blah, blah, blah. All right? The number 1, right in my wheelhouse. Now, this was before I got health conscious and all this sort of stuff. You'll see in a minute. The number 1, 2 eggs, any style you want them. Okay? Home fries, whole wheat toast, and a cup of coffee. All right? I got scrambled eggs. First of all, I loved that meal. The very tasty meal. And I think I told you, on the days that I had a 10 o'clock class, if I got done at 10 minutes to 10, I would literally run out of school and go around to the deli and have another number 1 before 11 o'clock when the lunch menu kicked in. Okay? They were 99 cents. You kidding? $1 a meal for a college student? Sign me up, right? So anyway, the point is, I was drinking the coffee. It came with it. I'll get my money's worth. We didn't know about that back then. Remember, guys, this is over 50 years ago. We just didn't know about the perils of coffee and all that sort of stuff. All right? So I drank it. And this was going on pretty much 7 days a week for a couple years. Okay? Then I got an apartment of my own, a nice 1-bedroom with a kitchen and all that sort of stuff, and I just started making my own breakfast without coffee. Okay? Now, I didn't know at the time. I was probably the first couple days very, very irritable, cranky, snapping at everybody, had a headache, that type of thing, and didn't even know what was going on. Completely oblivious to it. I'm sure it happened because I was drinking cup of coffee, possibly 2, depending if if I got back before the lunch menu kicked in. 2 cups of coffee a day for a couple of years. Anyway, be that as it may. The point is, I don't really know what I'm talking about. The first one to tell you. But I think you'll agree what I'm about to suggest makes sense. Okay? You coffee guys, 3, 4, 5 cups a day. You're walking around all day with your cup of Joe, your Starbucks, or whatever. Remember, you want to get rid of that, but replace it with something, a healthier thing. Simple. Walk around with your sugar water. Walk around with your fresh squeezed juice with sugar in it. Now, this is going to do a couple things, man. I'm telling you, I'm not privy to what a caffeine jolt feels like in the morning anymore. I'm not. But I tell you, it can't be much more of a kick than what I'm getting from the sugar, which is just so healthy. You replace that, the coffee, with something healthier. And I think the sugar water is a way to go because you are getting, it's not a specific kick. You don't feel like, caffeine, I remember this much. You feel it coming on and you feel it dissipating too. That's not the way sugar works, but you'll have plenty of energy and you'll be in a good mood and all that sort of stuff. All right? Okay. Next down the list, those 2 are ideal. Just regular water, which will not give you what you're getting from caffeine. Sugar water, and lots of it. Have it with you all day, as much as you want, and juice with sugar. Okay? That's number 1. Second in line, decaf coffee with sugar in it. And again, not knowing what I'm talking about, that might be a good way to go. Because it certainly tastes the same, and you're getting, the spike from the sugar. That might be a way to go. All right? The next down the line is tea. Now, tea doesn't have as many other ingredients. It's a lot purer than coffee. But green tea with sugar, you're still getting your caffeine, plus the sugar. I know that all of the Kenyan distance runs that are just so great drink green tea and sugar. I mean, so much sugar in it that the spoon will stand up straight. That's a big deal. Again, it's caffeine. There's no way around it. Instead of meth, you're going to crack. I'm exaggerating, but you get the idea. All right? I would say last but not least, the coffee itself with sugar in it. Okay? If you're taking it black, put sugar in it. Try to get rid of the cream. The cream is just gross. It's a animal product, and you want to get rid of that anyway. Milk, cream, whatever. And that will be last. Now, if you're doing 3, 4, 5 a day, maybe you could start off doing 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day and 2, 3 cups of juice, water, whatever. Now, I'm the type of personality that if I think something is good for me on Monday, I'm doing it on Tuesday. I don't care. I'm doing it. A lot of you are not like that. A lot of you got to gradually, stick your toe in the shallow end and all that sort of, and ease out. I get it. And please, anybody, give your comments below. Tell me if you think these suggestions are full of crap. They may just be. As I said, this is above my pay grade. Just some thoughts on the subject. All right? All right. Guys, eat and drink your fruits and vegetables. Drink your fruits and vegetables and your sugars. And live your life with true power. Not the fake stuff, true power. The world is yours, Chico, and everything in it. Love you all.